But anything for the first 60 seconds because of Twitch ads.
I have trouble talking about things anyway.
Yes. Twitch ads, more Twitch ads.
I mean, I'm just excited they feel like we're important enough to give us ads.
I guess so. I'm sure those, I don't know if we have to pay them to run those ads. Like, this is the new Twitch model. You pay us to stream.
I heard
Oh,
I don't know if this is the time to talk about it, but I heard somebody talking about how much the world has shifted from way back in the 90s when being like supported by some big company was being a sellout and nobody wanted to do it. And
yeah.
then today, like the status is, oh, hey, I'm so big that somebody wants to advertise for me. Somebody wants me to use their product.
Yes. I'll be Kim Kardashian and I'm going to tweet about this boba tea and they're going to pay me 3 million space bucks.
Was that Boba Fett?
Yeah, Boba Fett, Boba Tea. I assume he's a franchise holder.
Surely he gets some sort of revenue every time we say.
Surely. Here's the thing. I'm sure that Disney at this point, if they own the phrase boba, that they are suing every boba tea place. It's crazy. So the Twitch ad should be over by now. It's Cav the Nerds 187. I'm Cav. That's Sam.
Hello.
Nick is currently missing. We're not quite sure where. Last seen on Exegol with a suspicious looking Wookiee and and a horse.
Oh man.
Oh,
I didn't go digging for any more of those sound effects for you. I'm sorry.
There's one in particular. You'll know it when you hear it. It's okay. It's inappropriate almost. Like it's highly like suggestive. That's the one we need.
Well, as long as you hit it sometime when you stream, I'll pick it up next time.
Yeah, I should. At this point, I'll just start recording locally. I'll just send you a clip of the file. Like,
there you go. The problem is, a lot of times whenever the horse comes up, you're shooting at something, and so it's hard to separate out the gunfire from the horse.
Yeah, I need to like just run around and not shoot things. And surely somebody's like, yeah, I remember back in the day, like with video games, that like if you looked hard enough and it really wasn't that hard, like you could find the media files for things, right? Sure, like, yeah. I mean, like in the old Command and Conquer and stuff like that, like finding like the images used for some of the units and stuff like that was super easy. So you could make stuff like look kind of however you wanted. Sometimes it crashed the game. And then you also had like the extent of the control over the economy in Command and Conquer was an INI file that literally said like, Grenadier 150, Mammoth tank 1500, and you could just change them all to 1, and it would cost 1 credit.
I know, those were the good old days. I remember the first game that I played that was just designed to be just modded like crazy there was a fighting game called like Mugen or something.
Okay.
And like you could actually specifically change each animated sprite. You could change all of the, the like health bars and just every element of the engine was designed to be just made however you want. And it was amazing. It was fantastic. But we have run into issues. And I know this isn't something we talked about. Well, we were planning to talk about. But right now, there is a lawsuit, may have just been settled. I'm not sure. There's a group of people that are modding, I'm trying to look it up as we speak, GTA. I think it's Vice City for PC. Like, not talking about the recent re-release or remaster that everybody hated, but like the original one. They were trying to fix some issues and kind of make it better. And Rockstar actually took them to court. Like, that is not a thing they want you doing. And don't even get me started on all the Nintendo lawsuits.
Yes. I mean, one of my favorite things is like, there's a kid from a third world country and he made a Game Boy out of cardboard, and Nintendo found out about it. So Nintendo flew out there personally to hand him a cease and desist order.
And they stepped on his dreams. And they sued him for $1 million, which he will pay back in coconuts over the next 10 years.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's something. Video games companies, man. I miss like the easily moddable stuff now, but like you look at something like Witcher 3, which admittedly I've not yet played. Like I've talked at length about the fact I'm just kind of waiting for the remaster. And the thing that I really like about what they're talking about with the remaster is they are taking the best community mods. They've gone out to the developers and they're being integrated into the remaster.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, let's take everybody's hard work and not pay them for it, but put it in a game. Like that is kind of cool.
I think CD Projekt Red has been pretty good about that. I mean, I don't have any, good examples to cite, but you don't hear about them actively going after people like some other companies do.
Yeah.
But in general, like, they're behind they're behind GOG, the store that kind of invests in keeping games alive, keeping current versions of games out there so people can play them, and additional content like mods and soundtracks and books and stuff. And I think it's part of their culture. I don't know if that's something that's just I've interpreted or there's actually a thing.
It sounds like it's probably a thing. No one else is doing that. My biggest mod claim to fame, and this isn't a mod thing, this just shows you how out of touch EA is. I think it's EA. When EA bought whatever who got the Command & Conquer franchise, they came out with, I can't remember which version it was. I think it was 3 or Kane's Wrath. Maybe it was 4. I don't remember. But all of a sudden, there's all these things blowing up about, I can't install this too. I can't install this too. I can't install this too. And so, like, I'm active on the boards at this point, and I'm kind of poking around at things. And I realize as people are posting what their problems they're having, I messaged the mod and I said, dude, you assumed that everybody was using NTFS so they could, look at a file that was larger than 4 gigs. But they couldn't. And so it was breaking people's games. That is my claim to fame, is I was the one who told EA, here is your problem.
That's amazing.
Split your file. Now, did I ever get credit? Did I get a thank you card or like a fruit basket? No. I got a DM on the board saying, dude, that was huge. Thanks so much.
Sir,
you're now being sued for modding your game.
Oh yeah. No, I was gonna say you are not the hero that they deserve, but you are the one that they need right now.
That's true.
So they're gonna hunt you.
Yeah, little did I know that EA would turn into the monster that they have yet now become.
It's true, yeah.
I was part of it. Oh gosh.
I don't know if you remember, but on the subject of all this, Double Fine, one of my favorite studios, they did a game called Space. What was it? Space Base. That's what it was. Space Base DF9, and it was a oh man, it was kind of like Sims in space. You build like a space station, and you've got little people there that walk around and they do functions or whatever.
Yeah.
And it never really got a whole lot of love. Like basically, they created the engine and the environment, and they said, okay, that's all we're going to do with it. You guys can have it. I mean, not have it. I mean, they were still charging for it, but
yeah,
it was like there were a lot of people that got really mad because there wasn't ever a story put into it or anything, but they did kind of make it open so that you could, put in your own touches to it. And that was one of their big things was they said, oh, hey, it's all, in Lua. So if you know this language, you can go into the code and make it do this and this. And, if you know where the location of all these, parts are, you can change them out. So kind of like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think people, some people love that. And some people are like, no, I'm not paying you money for a thing that isn't technically finished.
that I have to finish.
But I have spent tons and tons of hours in that game, like without any kind of a promise of ending, I guess, promise of story. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
I had fun.
I'm convinced the youngest here that he's going to end up. I keep meaning because Humble Bundle constantly has this. Here's how you code in Roblox.
Yeah.
Bundles or whatever. I'm convinced that if I put that in front of him, he's going to create something incredible in Roblox, as he just kind of has that mindset.
So that's where I was hoping the conversation last week would go. When we were talking about the metaverse and who's really going to create the Oasis and all that. Yeah. One of the articles I linked.
Real quick, gonna press pause real quick. Jetpack Rabbit with the sub.
Oh, hey,
it's good
Jetpack.
to see you, JPR. Thank you, buddy.
Always miss that guy. But yes, one of the guys from Facebook, who actually, I guess he used to be with id Software, and then Facebook brought him in specifically for this whole, metaverse experiment. He says, no, there's no way Facebook is going to make that type of a world. It's going to be something like Roblox or something like that.
I thought you put that cat in jail.
We did. I don't know what's happening.
Jailbreak.
But something like Roblox, something that is a huge world that people do have access to, and that already has a pretty good mind share. And the next generation will be living in it for a long time.
Some of the things that, like, the games that are developed in Roblox, it's like there was a Roblox Got Talent that had like an obstacle course. Like, he's constantly farming things. It's very like, I want to say task oriented. He's playing battle royales and all this other stuff.
It's amazing.
It's incredible what they can do, and it's an incredible economy because they make a fortune.
Yeah.
And they, I was talking to somebody at work today about the Oculuses, because they got Oculuses and everything. He's like, "Can you imagine if we had that when we were kids?" And my comment was, if we had that when we were kids, we would already be at Wally at this point. We would just be in the chairs. Like, we would never have gotten up. Like,
I mean, we're pretty much there anyway.
I mean, we're pretty close. We are pretty close.
So close. That's the dream, really.
Yeah. Yes. So, oh man. So yeah, there's a few things to talk about. A lot of games. Let's go ahead and start with the sad thing.
Sorry, I guess we started off on a tangent.
I mean, if that is anything of this, like, that is this show. Like, if you are new to watching us, tangents are not only required, they're recommended. Like, so Betty White doesn't make it to 100, which was super sad. But
so sad.
The comment that I did find somewhat humorous about this, and this is something that I feel like Betty White would say, which was, People Magazine put out a Betty White turns 100 magazine, all this other stuff. They said, for a publication like People Magazine to put a Betty White turns 100, and for her to basically pass away before she turns 100 is just absolutely perfect comedic timing. Yeah. Like, if anything, that's what it is. But there's been some with all of the things, nobody wants to believe that it's actually true, but unfortunately it is. Like, I thought it was a hoax originally. I was assumed that she was gonna outlive us all. Right. But hashtag Betty White challenge: donate to animal shelters in her honor. She was a big animal lover, so you should go donate to your local animal shelter.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say, that's the legacy that I want to leave behind. I want people to, think to do good things when I'm gone.
You can donate to Extra Life or code.org or something like that.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep. On Betty White's 100th birthday, January 17th, everyone should pick a local rescue or animal shelter and donate just $5 in Betty White's name to make her 100th birthday the moment she deserves. So what's funny about this is the Bills Mafia, for the Buffalo Bills. They are consistent throughout the year of doing amazing things charity-wise. My favorite one this year is there was a call so bad against the Bills that they ended up let me see if I can find the number, because it's insane. Let's see here. So they ended up donating to a charity for visual impairment and advancement. So basically, a charity for help visually impaired people for blown calls. Let's see here. As of in 1 week they raised $65,000.
That is amazing.
Donating $17 at a time. Like, I'm not necessarily a Bills fan. I'm not a Bills fan, but I can get behind shenanigans like this.
That is great. Yeah.
Oh.
At first, I didn't get where you're going with that. It's like, oh, I see.
Gotta go with the donations. Yeah. So as hopefully we'll remember as
Visually
we go.
impaired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. There's some other NFL news we're gonna get to a little bit later that is absolutely insane. Not his actions, but what came later. Which was interesting. CES, you've got CES rolling around. I'm honestly surprised it's going or will go on or had gone on. Had gone on. It's already done. Did you know one of the keynotes for CES was Paris Hilton talking about cryptocurrency? Do you realize she's like the queen of crypto?
I did not.
Apparently, and here's the thing, like I've seen little pieces of it and stuff like that. Like I've always heard that like she is far more intelligent than like her public persona. It's true. I mean, she's incredibly smart. And apparently she understands blockchain and NFTs probably better than anybody except for maybe Gary V. And just crazy. But there's some interesting stuff. New outdoor cameras from Eve. GE's getting into some more lighting stuff. What else? TP-Link has a new smart home set of products. Smart lights, plugs, smart switches, those kinds of fun things. Yeah. Eufy showed off a new dual camera video doorbell. I see more and more Eufy stuff out there. I am a Ring person because Amazon wants all my data, and that's okay. I'll give it to them. It came. It's
really the question of who you trust. You have to give your data to somebody.
Somebody. Who do you
want
to give it? Why not Jeff Bezos? Like, my thought is he has billions of dollars, so what does he need my data for? Like, so there's a few other things.
So on the subject of smart home things,
yes.
One of the things I noticed in one of those articles, they were talking about how a lot of the industry seems to be finally getting together on a protocol. Like one of the big problems we have is that nothing really talks to each other.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it looks like it's probably Wi-Fi based, but still, the fact that we might eventually have, instead of a bunch of little things that happen to work, a bunch of things that work together. And that's a pretty exciting prospect.
It is. And it really, that particular thing is the reason why I'm in the Ring ecosystem, is because there is a fairly large amount of integration through either companies they've acquired or partnered with. Like the fact that, my thermostats and all this other stuff is all in, everything's in one ecosystem is great. Like the fact that I can have a like an outside light, like a path light that has motion detection on it, that when that motion detection goes off, depending on which path light it is, start setting off cameras to record particular cameras is cool to me.
It's amazing.
Like, I like that. Now what's interesting is they talked about, they've introduced a glass break sensor to its Ring alarm. Okay. Here's the problem with the last glass break sensor, which is why I won't put any of these in. Here's the problem. If it's the same thing, they have what they call a CO listener that listens for CO and fire or smoke detector listener that listens for that sound. The downside, the thing I don't know how they didn't think about this, is when your smoke detector goes off at 3 a.m. because its batteries are dead, it sets off the alarm because it thinks it's a fire alarm.
Yeah.
So no, I'm gonna go with no.
I don't know if you know this, but I actually worked for a security company for a little while. And let me tell you, those glass break sensors are the worst.
Yeah.
Like pretty much any sound can trigger them. And the same thing with, stuff just randomly going off. And then you got somebody calling the cops and sending them to your house.
Loud. That happened to a friend of mine because he was just watching a movie too loud.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. I get the concept, but oh man.
Yeah, and so the glass break sensor can detect the sound of glass breaking up to 25 feet away. I guarantee you, that if you have a a movie up loud enough, it's not going to be able to tell the difference.
And I guarantee you, we will have a movie up loud enough. That's kind of what we do.
That's true. I mean, if I don't feel like I'm there, what's the point?
That's why we're nerds.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah. It's I don't know if you've looked into anything like it, but I've recently set up one of my Raspberry Pis with Home Assistant.
Okay.
And basically, it's kind of a hub that has integrations for a lot of different things. The fun thing that triggered this was I can't log into my Ring doorbell anymore. Like, I just so I installed the app. It was working great, and then I decided, hey, I'm gonna do some change. I'm gonna make some changes on my phone. I'm just gonna wipe it. So I wiped my phone, reinstall the app, and even though I know the password and the username, it still won't let me actually log into the app without a code from the actual app, from the previous app. And so in order to get into it now, I have to call Ring and say, hey, guys, I promise I'm me. Give me a code.
Give me a code, please.
And I'm like, well, that makes no sense. So I wonder if there's some sort of third-party integration. It turns out there is. It's not fantastic, but it's making progress, and nice. I can use it. I can see motion at the door. I can mess with all of our Hughes lights. I can kind of see some of our smart switches, but it turns out the genetics on those things is really hard to trace.
I don't know where you came from.
Yeah, it's been really interesting.
There's been some integration stuff with like Blue Iris, the whatever that Ring. Some people have wedged their way into Ring via something. But really the thing that I'm like, so I have obviously a bunch of cameras outside my house, and I didn't want to run a bunch of cables, not yet, because the PoE cameras are out of stock and have been for months. They're supposed to come back in stock this month. I'm excited.
Just like the Xboxes.
Yeah. But I have been shocked at the battery life of these things. Like, I installed them probably a month ago, and I don't think any of my batteries are lower than 50%. And so like I'm impressed by that. What I was not impressed by was when I moved, I left my old Ring alarm at the old house. That was part of the thing. So I call, and so I leave the house, all this other stuff. I call Ring, or I go to remove it from the system, and it says, press the button on to do this. I was like, here's the problem. I don't live there anymore.
Right. I'm going to go to somebody else's house and start hitting buttons.
Exactly right. That's a bad thing. That's how news stories happen. And they said, well, if they unplug it and the battery dies, which by the way takes over 24 hours, you can, quote, abandon it. I'm like, okay. Now, luckily, I went like through my realtor to go to their realtor, be like, hey, unplug this. If you're not using it right now, unplug it for a day, please. But on the flip side, setting up a new Ring alarm is about the easiest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
And so it's the only thing I don't have, I think, from their stuff is the whole home shutting off the water, because they have like a water main, and I have that one tracks flow, but also I have water sensors everywhere in the house. And basically, if one of those detects water, it'll shut off water to the house.
Yeah.
Which is great. But, that's also, not in stock. So, but yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.
So all we're saying is Ring's really easy to set up, and it's pretty reliable, and don't move.
Yeah, and don't move at all. And give Jeff Bezos your data. Yeah, that's what you need to do.
He needs to take it to Mars.
Yeah. Yes, him and Elon can take it to Mars. So speaking of Elon Musk, Starlink is doing its thing.
Yeah,
145,000 customers. Not really surprising me about that. But the biggest problem they've got now is, at this point, is like the more people they're adding, the slower it's getting. I mean, that's internet tubes 101.
Right.
Like the tubes will fill, stuff will get slow.
Yeah.
And Elon has basically said, "Hey, look, like silicon shortages, it's much harder to, deploy satellites and stuff like that for additional capacity." So
Well, and I
they
think
did.
their service right now, I don't know that they have like data caps like every other provider does.
They do not.
That's coming soon.
It might be like, hey, we're gonna. The other thing, even if you give people 100 meg, like it's a huge change for everywhere. It's in 25 countries, 145,000 customers.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to
Really
be
great.
when it gets like more mainstream and stuff like that, if they keep the affordability of it, it'll be a great backup style connection. Like I think
Yeah.
it'd be pretty interesting. Then Elon can have all my data.
Well, and compared to what is currently available in some areas, like where my in-laws used to live on top of a mountain in Colorado, or I listened to a podcast about a guy that RVs around the country, and like everywhere he stops, he has to update his address with Elon, say, "Hey, dude, I'm over here now." But I mean, it works, and it's great service compared to either cell or, like I said, complete just blackouts in some places.
Josh Kerr with the hard eyes. Hi, Josh. Good to see you.
Josh.
The Rev himself. He rode the magical horse with us today.
Ooh.
So, to finish out some stuff.
Didn't stream any of that?
Did not.
No.
It was during lunch today. I'm just going to read the title of this article. Scientists watch enormous star explode after ominous goodbye. Okay.
Well, it was interesting. It's one of the first times we've really, I say we, but we as people, supposedly have been able to kind of see this happen and
witness it. And
yeah.
So the question is,
I don't want to say real time, but
yeah, it's that's the question is like stars are things that have happened however long ago, right?
Yeah.
Then like, has this happened? Did this just happen, or is this something that is just now reaching us?
Yeah, it's just now reaching us, but it's one of those things that it's kind of interesting. I mean, I think partially just the fact that we have such a better view of things outside of our close neighborhood. Makes a big difference. And I worry about the time when suddenly they realize, wait, this is happening all the time, all around us. And suddenly space goes from being just this like void to constant explosions all around us. We just didn't know it was happening.
Well, leading to that, the next article, I was just scrolling down. Scientists baffled by a unique object of uncertain nature orbiting a star. So yeah, that could be something, or it could be a big hunk of failed Russian rocket crashes to Earth as space junk.
Yeah.
Yes. The upper stage of a Russian Angara A5 heavy lift rocket crashed back to Earth in an uncontrolled fashion on Wednesday, hitting the atmosphere over the Pacific Ocean about 3:00 Central Time.
So that's what we have to look forward to.
Yep. The more stuff we put up there, the more stuff it's going to fall down.
Do you ever check XKCD?
On occasion, yeah.
He had one. It was either yesterday or the day before, I think. The James Webb Telescope. It expanded out the sail. He did a little illustration of it. The sails expanded out, and then it says the reason for that is it's to protect the Earth from the flash that the camera uses. And the last last panel is just this big giant white flash, and then there's this little shadow protecting us from it.
Oh man. Yeah, that's apparently the piece that fell to the Earth, the chunk that fell back to the Earth, weighed 3.5 tons.
Yeah, perfectly safe.
Perfectly safe to land in the ocean. I've seen disaster movies. Let's talk about disaster movies for a second. Have you seen the trailer for Moonfall?
No, but I've heard about it.
So the first trailer I see, it's like the moon's out of orbit. All these things are happening. It's Roland Emmerich, the king of disaster movies. Like, 2012 or 2020, whatever one that was. I don't know. Like all of them. I love those. Like disaster movies are like I love a good disaster movie. Like you just unplug your brain. You're like, this could happen.
He
And
did
it's like,
Independence Day.
and then it's like, hey, there is like the moon's out of orbit and all this other stuff. And then the second trailer like takes such a hard right turn that now there's something in the moon, like it's a space station or something. It has Josh Gad, I think. I don't quite know what's happening at this point. I don't really care because I'm gonna go see it. But
I don't really know what to think about this guy. Like I Googled him, and then as a director, it's got his credits listed as Independence Day, 2012, Day After Tomorrow, The Patriot, Eight-Legged Freaks. Yeah, kind of a wide variety of options there.
Yeah, Roland Emmerich disaster movies. I'm just Googling this.
Oh, he did the 98 Godzilla.
Oh, there we go.
So I don't know if that's a benefit or not. No, he did the White House Down.
Oh, apparently you can watch the first 5 minutes of Moonfall.
Well, fantastic.
Oh, amazing.
We'll do that.
So yeah, I will
live on stream.
I will absolutely go. I will watch a Roland Emmerich disaster movie any day of this. It's called Moonfall, Josh.
He does seem to know what he's doing.
So like what I would recommend people do is go find the first Moonfall trailer, like look at the release date on YouTube, watch it, get a sense of what you think that movie is, and then watch the second one and realize how wrong you were.
But we won't actually know until the movie comes out.
Exactly right. I mean, it's going to be a hard left turn, hard right turn. I mean, twists and turns. There's no telling. It was all a dream. Somebody's in a snow globe. I don't know. Like, it'd be any number of things.
Rosebud.
Oh boy,
it's definitely Citizen Kane's. All I'm saying.
It's gotta be. You know where you could watch Moonfall? BMW's new 31-inch screen in the back seat of a passenger car to keep your passengers entertained.
Oh man!
New car and technology called a theater screen. This is also at CES this year. A 31-inch 32:9 display can somehow be fitted to the ceiling of luxury cars, transforming the back seats into, quote, a private cinema lounge. So 8K resolution. It runs Fire OS. So, Jeff Bezos is getting your data. So no word if this is actually ever going to come out, but it's a great idea.
I mean, it can't not come out, right?
At this point. I mean, in a world where everyone has a device in their pocket, do you need a screen in the ceiling of your car? I say yes.
I was gonna say I would argue you do, partially because we had we had an article not too long ago about how the PC in the new Teslas is as powerful as a PS5.
Nice.
Yeah. I think they were demonstrating somebody playing like Cyberpunk on it, and
of course it can play Cyberpunk.
So you need an 8K screen in that vehicle so you can drain the battery as fast as possible.
I remember when I was a kid. I was really young. This was back when, antenna TVs were a thing. We would drive, we were on a trip or something like that. I don't remember to where, whatever. But my parents had a small black and white television, antenna based, right? Plugged in the car somehow. I don't know how that power worked at the time, because it was like a tube TV. So like, I'm not sure a car's electrical system is designed for this. And my dad got pulled over because he could see it and he was driving. And basically there was a law about the driver can't be able to see the television because it's a distraction. I don't think he got a ticket. Yeah. But for whatever reason, that memory sticks in my brain very clearly.
So we had something similar. My dad, we had one of those old, full-size vans, like I don't remember what they were called, but
the Econo vans or the Astro van? Got to be
the Astro vans. That's what we had. Yeah,
Astro. Yeah, we had one too.
my dad built this little kind of wooden console in between the two front seats, and he had this little portable. It wasn't black and white; it was actually color, a little color TV that he put in there. And I'm pretty sure there was a VCR underneath. And
nice.
No idea how he made it all work, but I am definitely going to ask him tomorrow. But yeah, it was for long trips because we went to a lot of like soccer tournaments and Boy Scout events and band trips, and we were constantly traveling.
Yeah,
and that was somehow the thing. Like we had movies to watch. That's kind of been a theme for us. We always have to have movies.
Yeah.
So.
And here, what's funny, like eventually that stuff just gets built into cars. Yeah. Like even VCRs at that point, and like the Econo vans and the Astro vans, like that became a feature. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, tune in next week because I want to understand how he like rigged this together and wired it up and where the power came from.
Right.
Because I'm thinking like, you know, alternators making power, but like it's not really 120 volt power in a car. Like you've got to convert it at some point somehow. Now it's like a cigarette lighter and whatever. The funny thing is way more recent, and this is probably in the last year. We were driving hockey tournament. We had one of those cigarette lighter adapter things or whatever. Misty plugged in her hair dryer. It didn't work very long. Like, we didn't burn the hair dryer down, but it was
which will die first, the hair dryer or the car?
Exactly right. If you can't get a 31-inch TV in your car, you can get a new foldable PC from Asus, 17.3-inch OLED tablet that can fold in half. Like, it's called the Asus ZenBook 17 Fold OLED. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
I just don't trust it. Like, they can't get phones to work right yet. Like, right. I get that maybe a PC will last longer because you're not opening and closing it as many times as you would a phone. You know, I would say probably 10% of what you do on a phone for a PC, but it's interesting.
Did you see the Samsung ones?
Yes. Yeah.
The trifold and the
the thing is, like, the thing I love most about CES is not the things that are going to come out in the real world. It's the stuff that they just make up for the show.
Yeah, I know.
Like here's one model. Here's one model of something. You know, one demo. I've been to CES one time. It was an amazing time. And you're just looking at really random stuff that you'll probably never see again. Like, there was a bunch of like Intel laptops with detachable screens, like literally that you just detached, and the keyboard was still there. And now that's basically an iPad keyboard, like in a dock. Like, it's not.
Sure.
It's anything crazy, but Asus has announced several OLED laptops this week. NVIDIA also announced this week, they announced a bunch of new NVIDIA 30 series based laptops. They also a new video card because nobody, a 3050 because nobody can get anything else. So they're going to start producing more. I don't know why. They also announced the 3090 Ti. Basically, they said, here it is. It's got more memory and it's faster. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Like, the running joke in the internet is it's already sold out because that's the only one they ever produced.
I mean, yeah. That's really what they can do now is I can just have one 3090 and one 3050 and that's all anybody needs.
Because everyone just thinks, man, just can't get stock.
Yeah. So,
unfortunately, if you were a legacy BlackBerry holder, your phone's dead.
No.
So, BlackBerry has stopped running support for its classic devices running BlackBerry 10 7.1 OS or earlier. I don't know who all would still be running a BlackBerry. I ran a BlackBerry for about a month. Actually, I know. I can tell you exactly how long it was. It was 29 days because I timed it out where I could, because AT&T had a 30-day return policy, and day 29 was the day the iPhone 4 came out. So I got a BlackBerry just because I needed to move to AT&T because they were going to get iPhones, and then I went and swapped it. So I had to get in line at like 4 a.m. for an iPhone. It was dumb. Of course, I've done crazier things.
I think they said the last BlackBerries that actually had the BlackBerry OS on them was like 2013, something like that. So if you are still using one of those, kudos to you.
Exactly right. The only people still using those things are probably government agencies because they don't ever change anything. So yeah,
why can't you just get us an iPhone 2?
something. But yeah, I mean, you go from a BlackBerry to the trifold. That's pretty. It's pretty crazy. Let's see what else we got going on here. We're just kind of bouncing back and forth these things. This is an interesting article that you posted for Mac Rumors about a key M1 Mac engineer departs Apple for Intel.
Yeah.
I am so impressed with the M1 chip. It's not even funny. I have one on my MacBook Air, and just the sheer battery life of that laptop is unnatural. Like the story is, and I've said this probably a dozen times on here, is the story is that when they were developing it and had the M1 in and the battery and all this other stuff, that they did in-depth investigation into the battery meter software on the laptop because they thought it was broken. Like the battery was lasting so long they thought it was broken. I probably have to plug in my MacBook Air once a week and I use it every day. Like it's insane. So
it is, and I think it's really, that's why this is so exciting is, Apple currently has this new platform that nobody else is taking advantage of, and this tells you that Intel really is interested in moving to the next level, and that's going to be really interesting whenever we get that for the broader market.
Intel needs something because like they release these new processors, like we're the king of gaming, and then AMD came out like yesterday or 2 days ago, like check out these new processors.
I know, right?
We're the king of gaming. So,
and that's really what it's going to be. I mean, with the new laptops with AMD chips, they're generally more efficient. They generally have the benefit of all that, and I think whichever one makes that jump to ARM is going to see a bit of an edge moving forward.
Yeah, especially in like you've got that. That's the interesting thing is Nvidia bought ARM, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but AMD also has their Radeon line, so you don't think that like AMD or whatever like it would be a good. But I thought that AMD also bought somebody for who did they buy? It was a lot of money. Let's see, who did they buy? Bought Xilnix. That's a rival chip maker.
Yeah.
For $35 billion. Who knows? But yeah, it's pretty crazy. But here's the thing: the only person who benefits from this is us. I'll take this competition because you look at what you can do on a laptop, and really, I'm so curious to see what they're gonna do in the Steam Deck. Like I cannot wait to get my hands on this thing. Like, and it should be soon, right? Didn't they only move them to February?
I mean, it's, I guess, going to be in shipments, in phases. But yeah, I believe that first shipment or that first phase got moved to February.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to hold my breath, but I'm really excited.
Yeah. It's like I'm Mojo's over there whining because everybody's home now. He's like, let me out. Yeah, I am very curious about the Steam Deck. I did buy one. I don't have many concerns about the people like stuff that said it's not gonna run this, it's not gonna run that. It seems like they've invested pretty heavily in emulation, working around that type stuff. So I'm excited to get my hands on it and to play it. It's gonna be fun whenever that day comes. Speaking of which, I should really check my shipping address on Steam for that.
Yeah, you better.
That's an excellent.
I can tell you, I run Linux pretty much on all my computers, and I have been having a lot of luck with Steam lately. I mean, it's definitely not going to meet most people's expectations, and I know there's a lot of people, including in our Facebook groups, saying, hey, I'm just going to install Windows on it. But
Sure.
I think people will be surprised. Some of the options for getting stuff to work through their emulation through Proton really just require the developer to like check a box saying, yeah, make this work. And some of them apparently aren't doing it. And of course, not everything's perfect, but if nothing else, if you're curious and you've got one game that you just have to have work, if you go to protondb.com, they actually have a website that kind of tells you how things are currently working in Linux. And for the most part right now, out of the top 100, there's a pretty significant number of them that do work. But top 10 games on Steam right now, only about a quarter of them work. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you get to some of the new like AAA games, you're not going to have as much luck. But like I've been playing Stardew Valley with Church 2 for like a year now, and it's awesome. And I've been playing Hollow Knight and let's see, the new Monkey Ball. I've been playing that like crazy. Death's Door that came out this year. That was a good one. So, I mean, there's a lot of good ones. I think the problem is, again, a lot of the gaming world revolves around like 2 or 3 first-person shooters that are going to come out this year and they're not going to work, and people are going to be so mad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Destiny's going to work. I'm pretty sure it won't.
They've been talking about how they're going to get like, I assume Bungie will do something. Like,
surely, right?
Yeah, you would hope. But so I logged into Steam to look at my Steam Deck order. It says your expected order availability after Q2 of 2022. So that's summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
We're hopeful, but I'm not.
I mean, yeah, I'm not either. Just the sheer, shortage of silicon in general, and parts in general, and pricing in general, like, is a thing. Like, because Steam can be like, hey, so I know I told you like $5.99, but this is gonna cost $397,000. Thank you for your $5 donation, your $5 reservation.
I mean, that's part of the question, because I mean the base console, they're selling for like 300, right?
Yeah, there's the base is 300, and then there's one with, and that's got like 64 gigs. That's not enough to run anything.
Well, but it does have expansion for memory, etc. But like, one of the things to take into consideration is, most of the mainstream console makers, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, they're not really making any money off of the consoles themselves.
Yeah.
So it does make you wonder, like, is Valve just trying to push the platform, or do they have some sort of a secret, or
yeah, that's
will there
a good
be
question,
a switcheroo at the last minute?
because I mean, you make an excellent point that more often than not, the consoles are loss leaders for them. Like, they lose money. I think for a long time, Microsoft lost money on the Xbox.
Ridiculous amounts of money.
Because they lost like $200 a console or something.
Yeah.
But they make it all up in games.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, if you and subscriptions, I mean, that brilliant Microsoft move. Game Pass is making them so much money, it's stupid. Like,
it is.
And the thing is, though, it's also an incredible value for what you get. Like, it's pretty nuts.
It is.
But the thing is, with Steam, like, they're not making money on games because you already have the games.
Yeah.
Like, you've already paid for them. And that's going to be like, oh, you want a Steam Deck version of that game?
Well, they've already got a verification program in the works where they are specifically going to be marking certain parts of the store saying, this game is guaranteed to work with Steam Deck or whatever.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I don't know that. I mean, yeah, that probably should be a thing, but no, I think they're gonna be nicer about it.
At some point, like, you would hope something like at E3 2022, someone would get their hands on Steam Deck, get more information. But guess what? There is no E3 2022, and we don't even know if there's even going to be a virtual E3 at that point. Because I think at this point, a studio doesn't need an E3; they have a Twitch channel.
And that's true.
Like, that's just how they do that. So
they get from us, the expert Twitch streamers.
That's right.
That's all you need.
The rank 597,000th of in the podcast category.
Ooh,
we are the experts here.
Mm-hmm.
So no E3 in person, which is fine. I like the developer direct stuff anyways.
That's nice.
It's more like, I want to use the word personal. Like, it's sometimes like it's mainly about that stuff. There's not a lot of like, show and this and that. Unfortunately, it also means like no surprises, like Keanu walking out on stage and being like, "Hot damn!" or wrong button.
I wish he'd do the other one. No,
I had a 50-50 shot and I missed it. So,
oh man, I think you're right. I think that's why Hannah and I really like the PAX convention so much. They're not really about the big announcements and the new news. They're about the celebration of the platform, of the medium, and I think that's something that has kind of been lost at E3. And I think my bigger concern is that smaller conventions like that will go away.
Yeah, it's going to be the next couple of years are going to be interesting. Like just when we thought we were kind of getting back to normal on some of this stuff, doesn't really look like that's going to really happen.
You can take the Golden Globes, but don't take my PAX.
Don't take them. So speaking of other games, iRacing has bought Monster Games, teasing racing games for the broader market. iRacing is like the hardcore simulation racing.
Yeah.
But Monster Games did like NASCAR Heat and a few other things. NASCAR Heat was fun. I've played it before, some of the earlier stuff. And so they bought that to basically kind of split their stuff. Like you're still gonna have your iRacing and all that other stuff, but then you're also gonna have more fun style games like NASCAR Heat and things like that. So
be interesting to get some of that stuff back.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. What else? I have Dead Cells latest DLC, The Queen in the Sea. I have not played Dead Cells.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Is it?
I recommend it. Yeah. It's one of those roguelike games. It's got that old kind of, I want to say, SNES era graphic style to it.
Looks like is it a side scroller?
Yeah, side scroller.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Metroidvania, but not really. It's a lot of fun.
All I can see in the screenshot is it looks like he's throwing a shark at somebody. Perhaps
it's certainly possible. There's a number of different weapons you can pick up, and there's some couple of different DLCs that have come out. One of my favorite things is there's this little like mushroom guy that'll follow you around, and you can throw him at your enemies or just tell him to attack enemies. And it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like the Attack Llama from
very similar, except he's a fun guy.
He's a fun guy.
But Dead Cells. Give it a try. It's a lot of fun.
I will take a look at that. Let's see here. We could talk about the first edition of the Chevy Silverado electric sold out in 12 minutes.
I was hoping Church would be here because I'm sure he bought two.
At $105,000.
Yep.
So, the work truck variant is expected to be available in spring of 2023. Here's the really interesting thing is Ford had to halt reservations of the F-150 due to overwhelming demand. You could reserve a Ford F-150 Lightning electric, which I actually thought about doing because like there's enough power in it to power your house, like as opposed to a generator. And you could reserve one for $100. If you decided you don't want it, they'd give you your $100 back. So
Ford is Silverado, $105,000, announced at CES, and all the vehicles were purchased within 12 minutes.
That's insane. I wonder how big the edition was. Did they say how big that first edition was?
Mm-mm.
Interesting. Well, yeah, apparently there's enough people who are going to blow $105,000 on a Chevy Silverado. Like, the funny thing is, like, you look at that picture, and it really, really looks like a Honda Ridgeline truck.
It does.
Like, it really does.
Chevy's been hard at work, and we present to you the Honda Ridgeline.
The Chevy Silverado EV. Like, we changed the badges, right? Like, how is it? And by the way, this truck doesn't have a bed. It's full of batteries that we've just wired together.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yep. So, oh boy, let's see here. Tom Holland tried and failed to be a young James Bond. That's pretty. So, there's an interesting video of Tom Holland talking how Tom Holland basically manifests everything in his life. Have you seen this?
I haven't.
So basically, they ask him these questions. Like, there's these old videos. It's like, who was your first celebrity crush? And he's like, Zendaya. Okay, so now he's with Zendaya.
Oh,
He's
wow.
like, when he was young, I think he was doing press for Master and Commander, and they asked him like something about superhero or something like that. He's like, oh, I'd like to play Spider-Man in about 10 years. And then then there's another video asking what his favorite video game is. He says it's Uncharted.
Yeah.
And now he's in it. So at this point, like, dude, you're batting 1,000. You just need to stop.
Well, that was, I think, what the article was alluding to, was that he wanted to be Bond, and somehow people said, hey, he couldn't be Bond, but he could slip into Uncharted.
Yeah.
Which, whether you agree with that or not, I think he does have. I think he will be good. I don't know that it'll be the same character, but
any movie with Marky Mark is a classic,
right? Marky Mark and Spider-Man. I will watch it all day.
So all right, so let's call this now. How many slow-mo explosion walkaway scenes are we gonna get in Uncharted? I'm saying at least 7.
I mean, I'm kind of curious. Like, we already know this is one of those movies based on a game, so we've already played through the entire thing. There could be so many explosions. I just can't begin to count, and we don't know, how they're going to split it up, or if it's going to be more than one game in one movie, or it's going to be a side adventure. I mean, I think the screenshots we've seen or the pictures we've seen of him falling from the plane, like that's definitely a set piece from the game. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna say 7. You're going low there, man. Come on.
Going with but here, like, I'm being very specific. Yeah. These are slow-mo walking towards the camera scenes.
Yeah.
Like, there's at least 1 or 3 in every Marky Mark movie. Hey, you can see Mojo. There's Mojo.
Hi, Mojo.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna bump you up to 11.
11. 7-11. It'll be easy to remember.
We're locking that in now. Nice. My guess, my prediction. 11 slow walkaways.
11 slow walkaways. I like it. Like, the entire movie is just one slow walkaway.
Now, does that include like a slow fall away? Like, the plane is exploding behind him and he's slowly falling to earth.
Only if like he's doing it and like almost looking at the camera,
kind of winking.
Yeah, it's got to be. It has to be like. It can't be like, oh, I'm falling out of a plane. It has to be like an action shot. Like, I'm Control falling out of this plane and I'm gonna superhero land on the sand, or even better, I'm gonna shoot bullets into the water so it breaks the surface tension so I don't die when I hit it.
Yeah, I get that.
Because that works.
I was gonna say he's got a rocket launcher over his shoulder, and just before he hits the water, he fires the rocket to kind of launch himself up a little bit.
Rocket jump.
Yeah,
nice. Halo move.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's awesome. Book of Boba Fett. Patton Oswalt's responsible for all of it. You should watch this video.
please watch the video of his filibuster. It is amazing. He just pulls together so many things, and you'll wish that they listened to him more.
True.
Actually, no, you won't.
So the next episode. Sorry, I'm yawning because like I'm usually in bed by now.
I was gonna say it may be about time to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're getting there. The Book of Boba Fett episode 2 is good. I like it better. I liked it better than even though episode 1 answered a cool question. I like episode 2 felt more like The Mandalorian, I guess is the best way to put it. So it's fun.
Well, we had the setup in episode 1, so now we're transitioning into where he fits into the current world, right?
Yes. Well, yes and no. You get more of his Sand People backstory.
Ooh.
Even more. It's actually a really cool backstory. You're never. I'm just gonna put it this way. You're never gonna look at lizards the same again. So, yeah.
Okay.
You'll understand. Like, when you watch it, I'm sure there'll be a message in this chat like, I understand that now. Like,
I understood that reference.
I understood that lizard. Let's see here. Jon Stewart responds after comments about J.K. Rowling anti-Semitism go viral. I completely missed this. What happened?
So he was making a joke about how Jewish people are sometimes portrayed in media as having certain characteristics, and specifically, he was making a joke with one of the other writers on his podcast or his show or whatever about how the oh man, I don't
It's got to
remember
be
who it was.
Gringotts Goblin. It's got to be the Goblin.
Oh,
The Gringotts
that's right.
Goblins.
That's what it was. Yeah, yeah. He said that they were. He was joking that they were some sort of a thing against Jewish people, and apparently several news outlets picked it up as him calling out J.K. Rowling
as an anti-Semite.
Yes, and so he. I don't know if this link that I have in the agenda actually has the his response, but like it's kind of funny because he made a joke and it became news, and now his response saying that the news organizations are essentially just trying to light fires everywhere and see if people will come and watch.
Yeah,
and they're making that into more and more news, and it's kind of a funny little cycle there. It's a really good response though, and I recommend people watch it.
Yeah, they had I remember there were similar things with Watto from
Oh yeah,
Phantom Menace.
yeah.
The parts trader dude. I
think
remember there was still some like, is this supposed to be is George Lucas racist?
yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember that part too.
Yeah, basically he's saying they have too much time on their hands. They'll try to make anything into a news story. I think this kind of goes into what I enjoy about podcasts and what I enjoy about hanging out with you guys specifically is, we're not necessarily trying to get, clicks or generate news or controversy or anything like that. It's nice sometimes just sit around and talk to people and make jokes and have fun. And that's basically what he's saying is we were having fun. It was hilarious. You guys really need to just chill out.
Yeah. And the funny thing is like, this is all because of the 24-hour news cycle. At some point, you've got to fill the airways.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like I was watching looking at a meme or something. I don't remember, and it was a picture of basically what televisions used to go off the air at midnight.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just the bars and like whatever logo and stuff like that. And it's just like it was one of those things like, clearly none of you all ever closed up watching television late at night or stayed up so late to see this whatever and it shows. Like, but it's a 24-hour cable news cycle. You've got to fill it with something, and unfortunately sometimes it is it is garbage. I'm gonna save the MLB lockout debate until Church can join us.
I was really hoping that he'd be around for that one. I figured it'd be interesting.
Yeah. On the and we'll talk more with him here about the Antonio Brown thing, but basically if you watch any news or sports, whatever, you probably saw Antonio Brown take off his jersey, take off his shirt, run through the end zone and leave. Was so out of character for a professional football player that security thought it was a fan who had jumped onto the field. But it gets better because him and his former team, the Buccaneers, were fighting or whatever about why it all happened. So he decided to post text conversations between him and various parties. And one of them was with Tom Brady's trainer, Alex Guerrero, basically wanting his money back. And Alex said, sure, just let me know where to send the money. And he sends, and in the text that he sends back is not only his bank account numbers, but also the routing numbers. Like his entire bank information at that point was posted on the internet. Like routing numbers eventually you can kind of find because like every organization has one.
Most banks have that on their website.
Yeah. And then, but 2 of your own account numbers, are you kidding? Like, I wonder what happened in probably the 5 or 4 or 6 hours after that got out. But
3 minutes, that account's empty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, somebody bought a lot of crypto. That's what I mean. But it was just crazy, and like that just goes to technology in general. Like, don't post that on the internet, guys, because nobody wants that. I mean, everybody wants his money. He made a bunch of money. Yeah, exactly. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. That's right. Oh man. Well, I guess Nick is still in Exegol with that mysterious Wookiee.
Hope he's all right.
I don't know where Church is. Maybe Church is the mysterious, suspicious-looking Wookiee. Is it possible?
It's possible.
I mean, I think it's all very possible. I'm sure they will be back next week, or at least Nick. I don't know about Church, but I think Nick will be back next week.
I'll start harassing Church more.
Yes, that's true.
His birthday is coming up next week, so
that is true. Oh yeah, this starts the run.
Week of birthdays.
The GTN birthday, January birthdays, which is like almost all of us.
Pretty much,
yeah. I think the only ones that are not, like, I'm not, but I was a few weeks ago.
I'm not.
You're not. Is everybody else like within the span of a week?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like Church, it's Barry, it's Nick, Hannah.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. It says we're having trouble streaming to Twitch.
Oh no!
I don't think that is accurate because I'm watching it right now on Twitch. The bit rate's really low. The bit rate has dropped slightly.
Oh no!
Sorry for the quality.
People got home. They started using all your internets.
It's true. Well, this internet is not on anything else. So, okay, gang. Well, this is going to wrap.
Connection is strong.
It's true. All right, this is going to wrap up episode 187. It just says Twitch just says unstable. I like it. Episode 187. I'm Cav. That's Sam.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.
And Hannah's not evil. I
mean, she'll defend herself someday.
That's true. The world needs a little evil. Like so. All right, guys. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.